Hi everyone, welcome to episode 9 of The Collective, and today I have with me Ben Ryan. Hello Ben.
Hello, how are you today?
How professional was that boy?
Very
Now
professional.
to make it more unprofessional, your name's 10 Footer. And why is your name 10 Footer?
Don't know if I want to reveal that on the pod. I can reveal that. It was a Christmas 10 years ago. It was a discussion at drinks about penis sizes and...
I love how did that come up? So you were at Christmas, it was at a family Christmas, right?
Yeah, correct. It was,
and then... apologies, yeah, you tell the story.
Yeah, sorry, it was a family Christmas down at the Shamrock Hotel in Dennington.
Is that even a hotel anymore, or is that closed down?
It's been closed down for years. Like, it has been a hotel for like nearly 8 years or so.
That's the white one, yeah? The old white one, yeah?
Yeah, it used to be like blue.
Yeah, I reckon it's been a long time since I've been there. But anyway, please continue.
Yeah, so usually, we went to a distant cousin, my great uncle's house for dinner, lunch, and usually the tradition is beforehand. All the guys go down to the pub and sink a few pots,
a few bevies for the boys,
play pool, eat some beef jerky.
Yep.
And for I don't know how it came about, but the discussion came around penises. And
that's just my casual Wednesday though, so that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So were they ribbing you? Were they?
No, I think because it was the first time I've ever had like beer properly. And
how old were you at the time?
17.
Recall?
I was 17.
So 17 was the first time you had a beer, like you had a drink properly.
I think I had a drink a year before that. That was UDL garbage.
Yeah. When was the first time you got drunk? How old were you?
First time I got drunk was probably 2 weeks before my 18th. That was at a friend's 18th.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me because I know that Corey, he didn't drink really until he was like 18 or something. Whereas, me and like the guys from Warrnambool College, we were all drinking when we were like 14, 15.
Yeah. To each their own, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But you went to is yours technically a private school or?
It's a private Catholic school. Same school as Corey.
So did you have any George Pals there?
Not when I was there. Years and years ago, when the school was first founded, it was founded by the Christian Brothers, and a few of them, I think, were found to be
naughty little
very
boys.
Naughty
were they,
little
Benjamin?
boys, yeah. So very, very naughty boys.
So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, which is what I'm a specialist at. So you're talking about penis sizes at Christmas,
and cause I think I had 2 pots in the hour and a half or 2 hours I was there, and for some reason I started talking about how my penis was 10 foot long. And
so you've had a few beers with the boys, and then you're like, nah, fuck it, my cock is 10 foot long. And
for the whole time I was there, I kept bragging about how big it was. And
so it just stuck. That name just stuck.
Yeah, it just stuck, and for 10 years now, it's been 10 footer. Like
That's beautiful.
It didn't really come up as much until I started hanging out with, say, you and Paddy Mead and Marnes and all them.
Yep. So Mead was the one, obviously, that brought it into the fold. I assume.
I think my brother told him one time, or I told the story to him, and that's just stuck as well.
That's beautiful. I mean, my first ever nickname was Pev, P-E-V. And the story behind it was a bit weird, but when I was in primary school, I used to hate Pavlova. So one of the boys just started calling me Pev, and it stuck for ages. Such a random nickname. Wow. And then it was Pirate in high school because Steve the Pirate.
You love your
I can't remember who gave me that one.
You love your Dodgeball?
Correct. Dodgeball. Hey, Dodgeball is one of the best comedy films ever written.
I was watching a stream today, and someone
wasn't it on last night on Channel 7 or something?
I didn't watch Channel 7.
I'm certain. I'm pretty sure Man sent me a picture of Dodgeball last night. I'm pretty sure they had it on 7, mate.
That would have been brilliant. I don't think I watched it, but I did watch a stream today where a bloke was playing Fortnite, and someone's like, "You sound and acts a lot like White Goodman," and he did none of the sort for some reason, and he's actually befuddled as to why someone called him White Gooden.
Correct.
That dude is a legend.
Here at Globo Gym, we're better than you, and we know it.
Oh, that movie has so many good moments.
It does. Hey, Ben, I'm going to throw you in the fire because you've said that you've listened to a couple of the episodes. You've listened to the one with your brother Chris, right? And we spoke about... I think I actually forgot the philosophical questions for his episode. So on the second time that he come back, I asked him the questions again. But I'm going to throw you in the fire here because I've been thinking about it, right? I've had these 5 questions and I've asked it 7 or 8 times now. I'm going to throw you in the fire and ask brand new questions. So you're going to be my guinea pig, Benjamin.
Ooh, I do like the sound
of that. Okay? Are you okay with that?
I'm happy to be anyone's guinea pig.
All right, you ready for question 1?
Sure.
Question 1. What is the meaning of a good life?
That is certainly a tough one. For me personally, meaning of a good life is just surrounding yourself with people that love and care for you, and also treat each other with kindness and fairness, and not expect anything back. I think that's a meaning of a good life, because for me personally, I feel I get more satisfaction out of being nice and caring to people than wanting something in return, because I'm not doing it for my own personal vanity or greed.
Yep,
and
that's nice.
We know that greed is one of the 7 deadly sins, I believe.
Correct.
I could be wrong. Yeah. So
yeah,
I just think greed can corrupt people, and I just live the life I live. And some people may find that sissy or not very strange, but that's just how I do it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I forgot to mention before I answer it, you're welcome to answer these in 5-minute intervals, or you can answer it in 2 words. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
Question 2. Is it easier to love or be loved?
I reckon it's easier to love. Just going
Why?
back to what... Because you can love people, but for people to love you, it's a lot more... You have to convince and earn that love off people, in a way.
Yep.
Because you can certainly love people. That's no issue. You can love your parents, you can love friends, family, your partner. But to be loved, it's a bit of a grey area, because what some people call love, they also call... they think they're what do you call it? What's the word? I'm trying to think.
That's all right.
They find it self-serving. To be true.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say self-fulfilling or something like
self-fulfilling,
that.
Yeah. They do it just to like boost their ego or whatever. Like you see a lot of celebrities and that do it, and then they convince themselves that they're universally loved.
Yep.
But in reality, they're not. Yeah, it's certainly easier to love, especially if you go in with the mindset, as I said before, of not expecting it in return.
Yep.
Because you find that it is also easier to love yourself in a way, because you have to love yourself before you start to love others.
I think it's the classic 10 to the garden that is your own before you can...
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Question number 3. What is true friendship?
Ooh, that is another good one. True friendship.
I suppose this one's obviously going to come down to how you define it, but I guess it's... Yeah, I mean, try to, my recommendation is to not answer it like a dictionary, but how you feel about it?
Well, true friendship for me is by having people in your life that aren't there just when you need them the most, also when you don't need them at all, in a way. Certainly you want them in your life when you need them the most as well, but if you... when you don't need them at all and they just want to genuinely hang out and connect and talk with you and do things with you, I think that's a mark of a true friendship.
Yep.
Because you can go for years without talking to people, and for me personally, that's not really a true friendship, but you may have like a deeper bond with a certain person, so...
Would you say that... do you have any friends that you would have considered that you have maintained friendship for a long time, or do you have any friends that you did for a long time, but then they moved and you've lost contact or anything like that?
Yes and no. So I've certainly had friends. I've had friends since primary school. I've had a friend that I've known since primary school that I still talk to and hang out with. I have had friends that I've known for a long time, and like we may not talk to each other anymore, but if I ever pop into him or bump into him or whatever, I still go out and talk to him, and we still hang out and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Are you satisfied with that answer, sir? Sir.
What's that?
Is that finished? Yeah.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, question 4. Is living life to the fullest possible? Why or why not?
It certainly is possible. It's just how you choose to live life to the fullest, because the definition for people is going to be different. Like,
of course, yeah.
I think a good way to do it is to live every day as if it was your last, because you don't want to like live life to the fullest, but you realise there's like large patches of your life that you feel like that you haven't done anything and you feel unfulfilled. But if you live every day. Yeah,
I'm just going to play a devil's advocate because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole live life like it's your last kind of thing. I don't think it's possible, for one. And two, I don't think anyone actually lives like that.
That's an interesting way of going about it. As I said, it depends on the definition of how one lives life to the fullest, because you could like what you perceive as living life to the fullest may be unfulfilling,
completely different to what you agree with or something.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's a really tricky one to answer, but just keep living your life, be kind and respectful to others, and you'll find that good things come to you and you feel a lot more fulfilled.
Sure.
Keep your mind busy with projects. Read a book. Yep.
Do you ever feel like you waste time, Ben? Are you you don't come across like the kind of person that I would think you're pretty structured and utilize time pretty well.
I've certainly had my fair share of procrastination, and I have.
Was it to do with uni, if you mind me asking, or is it other things, or?
It's not just uni. It's been like that since I was young. I've always procrastinated in certain situations, but
so it just depends what it is.
Yeah, if I'm really into something, I'll see it through to the end.
Yep.
But yeah, uni was a tricky one. Like, uni was okay, but at the same time, it wasn't something I really loved or enjoyed doing. So
so it was kind of you just pushing through the mud kind of thing there.
Yeah. And then the year after that, I managed to get into the industry that I wanted to, and haven't looked back since.
That's right, and things ended up falling in your lap. You know,
exactly.
not just falling in your lap. You work for it as well, but that path that you could have taken, you didn't take, and you're here where you are.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, yeah, you'll find that in life there's many paths that you'll take. You just also got to have the courage to go down the paths that seem scary and weird to you.
Yep.
Because they're often the most fulfilling in the end.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, I like that. And we can get back to the uni side of things later. We've got this written down. So, question number 5: I'll change the word. Are we a small part of intelligent life in the universe? Yes or no, and why?
Small part of intelligent life, like as in.
So, for example, do you think that we are the only intelligent life in the universe?
No.
And why?
Because there's a lot of things out there that have been hard to explain. Like, there's been discussion about whether alien life, extraterrestrial life exists out there.
Yep.
There are living sentient things, I believe, in the universe, but it also depends what you consider sentient as well.
Or intelligent, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Wouldn't it be a bummer if we finally found aliens and they were dumber than us?
That would certainly put a dampener on the whole mythology of aliens being like super smart creatures.
Correct.
And
Imagine if that's what
invade.
we found. Like, we actually just found a bunch of fucking Donald Trump cunts that were all together.
Oh, don't get me started on that. But yeah,
Just so that means there are a bunch of Oompa Loompa aliens in the universe somewhere, past Saturn's moon or something.
yeah. There's still so much of the universe we yet to explore.
Yeah. And I mean, I was talking about this the other night, things like black holes and the Big Bang Theory and stuff. Like, it seems to be stuff that's like, you take the Big Bang Theory, for example. It seems to be something that's universally accepted by scientists. But, I mean, there's the possibility for sure that they're all completely wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why physicists and astrologers and all different types of sciences have try to explain that for thousands of years.
It seems to be the most plausible one.
Yeah, there's many like physics theories out there, like string theory.
Yeah, for me, the Big Bang's really hard to like conceptualize. Obviously, it's hard for everyone to conceptualize, but like, I can't imagine like nothingness exploding into everything. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to explain. Like, and yeah, the same with religion as well. They believe it was just magically created by a all-power, omnipotent creator.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
I mean, there's also, it's hard to explain infinity. It's hard to explain our oceans. It's hard to explain our brains. Yeah. There's heaps of different things that it's hard to pick apart.
The universe in its entirety is a wonderful thing that I don't think we would ever find the answer for, because
I think you just describe yourself. You beautiful soul.
I was going to say, I didn't say beautiful soul. Is more
beautiful soul Jesse McCartney.
He is quite a dashing figure. But
he's a dashing figure. I haven't seen him in a while, but
Jesse McCartney. I think he was in last time I saw him was in Elvin and the Chipmunks.
Jesus Christ. That's such a good. See, I love the way your brain works. We were talking about the other day how you just have like a just inanimate, not the word. You just have an insane ability to remember certain things, like the anger management quotes or like Simpsons quotes and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Exactly. It just entirely depends on
what it is, or
what it is essentially. Like, there are a lot of things that I have no interest in. Like, I couldn't be stuffed with people modding cars because it just doesn't interest me.
Yep. So it has to be something that's, I guess, what are your main interests then? What would you consider like your top 5 interests and the time that you spend on them? If you had to give like a rough percentage time.
Number 1, video games.
Yep. And how much of your time would you say you spend doing that?
Not as much as I used to when I was younger. Like, I find I'm like doing a lot more hanging out, like talking to people and having conversations with. But video games still take up a little bit of my time. Like,
are you a video game player that likes to play single player offline games, or are you someone that likes it as a social sort of setting where you can play co-op or multiplayer games?
Both. I love single player games with a very good story. I'd love to play. Also like the multiplayer and like the co-op side of certain games as well.
So it kind of just depends on your mood, does it? Or would you say, or the game itself, or?
I think it's more to do with the game itself. Like, I've got to be in the right mood to play games, but it also depends if
and I suppose over the last like 5 years or something, do you have any particular games that you spend a lot of time on that you like?
You probably know the answer to that one.
I do. I just want to hear it. I just want to... let me guess. Let me guess it. All right, so in terms of single-player games, Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto 5?
Single-player-wise, probably Grand Theft Auto 5. I've completed that like 7 or 8 times.
Seriously? You've actually gone back and done it that many times?
Just the story. That's... a lot of the Assassin's Creed games, like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I've played a fair bit of. I've sunk a fair few hours in. Because I just really like the history aspect of those kind of things.
I'm assuming that that Overwatch is probably the number one multiplayer?
At the moment, yes, that's correct. Love playing Overwatch. It's a good game to play with friends too, and like even though you got the same character, the same levels and whatever, each game plays out differently. Like depending on how you strategize and cooperate with teammates and communicate with them. It entirely depends on how you do that, because there are ways to counter certain opponents. Hold on, what's going on there? My screen went dark for a second. There's ways. Let's make sure.
You're the Dark Lord. That's why.
Yes. But
maybe your computer realised that you're watching too much bestiality, Ben.
I'll neither confirm nor deny that.
No comment.
Do not watch that shit. Do not watch that shit. Don't worry about that. Especially with Overwatch, because there are so many ways to play it. And it's been around for 4 years now, I think.
Yeah, and it seems to be it's kind of one of those games like League of Legends or something where they're just constantly adding in... they're probably not at the same rate, obviously, but they keep updating the game and adding in different characters, which breaks the meta and stuff like that. So,
exactly right. And they
keeps things fresh.
The problem is with Overwatch, because of how little they introduce characters and how slow the patching works. They may be stuck with a meta composition for maybe 6 months at a time. Last year their esports league was it was still good to watch, but it was very boring for casual viewers, because it's more
they're just playing the same kind of players over and over, same characters over and over again.
The exact same characters, because
so they're just using the same tanks and same DPS guys or something like that.
Yeah, and they end up rectifying that by introducing what was called a roll-lock system. So, that didn't really fix it. It was more so the hero pool system.
What's that?
So basically, every week they tally up certain statistics about different heroes and determine on game time and a bunch of other variables. And then once they find out who's been played the most and most often, or in certain situations, they'll select one healer, one support, one tank, and 2 damage to remove from the rotation for that week, so you can't play them. But the next week they'll be back, and then another 1-1-2 will be out.
Yep, that's fair.
It creates a more...
Just makes it a more balanced experience, does it?
I wouldn't say more balanced. I'd say it creates the meta keeps moving. It doesn't get stale or boring after a while.
Yeah,
because they were going to introduce... I think a lot of people want to introduce hero bans completely. At the start of the game, you choose a hero to ban.
That's actually a pretty cool idea, because that could completely change the fucking game.
At the same
especially with maps and stuff, you could ban a Reinhardt or something, which could be really important in a certain section.
Yeah, at the same time though, it does give the players the choice to do it, and they can just purposely pick certain heroes because they don't want to play with them, and then people will get upset about not being able to play those heroes.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Of every game, at least with this, even though it's for a week, you won't get to play a certain hero for a week. It does force you to adapt and assess how you play certain heroes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would you say that video games are an important part of your life?
Not as much as when I was little. They're still important, and I love playing them with them, no doubt. But they're not life defining for me now. As much as when I was little.
So when you were younger, you spent more time on them, and as for now, it seems to be something that you could pull out of your life, even if you had to pull it out completely or something, and you wouldn't be as upset. Is that what you're trying to get at?
I don't think I could completely pull it out, but it's something that I can not play for a little while and then come back to and appreciate a lot better. Yeah.
Do you think that do you need structure? The reason I ask this is because we just one of the things I want to talk about, because of obviously the social isolation and stuff at the moment. You're working from home, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So with the social ISO stuff, do you think that you're someone that requires structure?
When I was little,
more or less than the average person.
When I was little, yeah, can get into it after this topic. But when I was little,
sure.
because I don't suffer. I was diagnosed with Asperger Syndrome when I was about 2 years old, and then I had to get a follow-up diagnosis down the track just to make sure.
Yep. Do you know when that was, by any chance?
When I got that, so I think about 2 years old is when my parents realised.
Yep. And do you know when the follow-up was?
When I was about 5, just before I went into high school. Not high school, primary.
Yep.
Just because they need to let the teachers know, and also they need to develop like study plans and everything around me to fit what was going on. When I was little, I didn't rely on structure. I relied on structure a lot in my everyday life, like wake up at a certain time and get ready for school, go to school and come home.
Yeah, this is kind of why I'm asking it. I did want to try and find a flowy way to get into this, because I know we wrote down Asperger's and autism and stuff as a topic to talk about. But yeah, I just thought, like, then the average person, do you think it's like tougher for you right now or easier for you? Or?
Honestly, I don't rely on structure as much as I used to.
Yeah.
As I've grown as an adult, when I was little, I'd used to panic and get severe anxiety, like at the mid.
If something didn't go your way or something.
If something didn't fit with my flow of things, like I couldn't make a decision on whether or not I wanted to go down the street or anything like that with my parents, or do simple things that a lot of people would find easier to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have a excuse my ignorance here for someone that isn't particularly well adept at the topic, but obviously I've heard of autism on the spectrum kind of thing. Does Asperger's have like a scale of like 1 to 10, like 10 being severe and 1 being minor? Is that how it works?
It's part of the whole autism spectrum. Like, it's one of the various conditions that is on the spectrum. It's more on the mild side of things. Like, you can still retain some like normal language and intelligence and behaviors, but like social, there are some social problems that I used to have when I was little, and which are prevalent in a lot of cases.
Yep.
That I just learned to develop naturally over time, especially with high school. That helped a lot.
Yep. And so what are the things that you think that you've been able to improve on since you were younger?
Definitely the social aspect side of things. Like, I've learned how to communicate with people better. I've been able to read social cues a lot better than I used to.
Yep.
I did suffer from I did have an anger problem as well when I was a little kid.
Oh wow! I can't imagine that, because you're like the most placid fucking person in the world. I can't remember. So did you used to just skits out when there'd be Legos or something, just throw it at the wall?
Yeah. Especially when I was little. As I said, if something didn't go my way, I'd get very anxious, and that would also work me up into a bit of a have anger as well. We've known each other. How long have we known each other, Ben? Now, probably since it's probably been 8 years,
8 years, 9 years now. And in that time, I don't think I've ever seen you angry. Maybe once, which I won't go into. Yeah. We can talk about it after here. But I reckon I've seen you legitimately angry, maybe one time. So I can't even conceptualize that.
Yeah. So when I was little, it used to occur a little bit, and I had to get anger management training as well. With a therapist, and it wasn't just me. I think there was another kid at my school in a similar position, because I think he also was on the spectrum.
Yep. Sorry, was this primary school? Was it?
Yeah. So we had to do sessions with the therapist and work through those things. And as I grew older, especially when I hit high school, I learned to deal with things a lot better.
Yep.
Like, especially with high school, it helped me teach me a lot in regards to social cues and how teenagers interacted. So it helped me build like a level of sociability.
Yep.
In a way with other people. So I don't need to
Do you feel like that's the most important part of someone, like, for example, that's not, let's say it's not you, let's say it's someone that you know that has Asperger's. Do you think socializing is like one of the main things that needs to be paid attention to, I guess?
I think so, yeah, because as you grow older, you obviously, like, people with Asperger's can still maintain some sort of a normal life.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the spectrum can't, and some people are, like, sent, some of them on the spectrum are sent to care homes because they're too high functioning.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Asperger's is technically a disability. Is that right?
Yes, it's a developmental disorder.
Yeah. Yeah. The only reason I say that is obviously we know a couple of guys that work in the field with disability, and I know that they've worked with children that do have high functioning Asperger's, and it's like I said, I'm kind of learning this as we go. That's why I kind of wanted to talk about this, because I don't think we've ever actually sat down and talked about it.
No, I don't think not in this
not in this setting, I guess, but
setting,
from someone from the outside perspective, the only thing that I would say is like noticeable for me is maybe sarcasm sometimes, but I would say you do a pretty good job still of picking up sarcasm, but there's just sometimes where because I'm overtly sarcastic, so
it's hard to tell sometimes. Like the other day when we were having a very large discussion about the fairness of dice rolls in Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I know Matt and Brad were having their back and forth, and I couldn't tell if Matt was being like serious or not.
Yeah. It's hard to tell. I suppose, but that's the good thing about going to high school as well, is that for example, if you were homeschooled that whole time and you weren't around people that are riffing on each other, bantering and stuff, you would have no fucking idea. You'd think it's for sure serious,
and you hit your adulthood and you would struggle immensely. So
at least you've got the idea to go, oh, hold on a minute, this could be something else. Like, this could just be the guys just having fun with each other.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to have, like, especially in primary school, my grade 6 teacher. He was very instrumental in advancing my interest a bit.
Yep. So how did he help? Like, what did he help specifically with?
Like, he used to give me a few things to do, like, outside the normal class setting. Like, I was very into computers, but he gave me a couple of things to do, like just small things like name computer components and all that, because that piqued my interest at the time. And if he didn't do that, I probably wouldn't be in the field I would be right now.
Yeah. Do you mind, we don't have to say if anyone listening, we don't have to say obviously where you work, but do you mind explaining your job and what you do?
So I'm a level one IT support person. So I'm the person who usually answers the calls and tries to resolve issues at the first point of contact.
Yep. And so it can range these issues, obviously.
Yeah, it could be just simple, like, I can't
turn the fucking thing off, you dumb cunt. Yeah. Turn it back on.
And there's been so many times where that's all that's needed to happen is turn stuff off and on. Some of it requires
insane, isn't it?
Requires my intervention to do so, but yeah, essentially.
Yep. If it's something over the phone that you can't handle, do you escalate it, or do you get them to come into store, or what's the next process?
So I'll do what I can at the first level, but if I can't resolve it in a given time frame, because we have to work within certain time frames. If it's something I can't resolve at the first level, or I've tried all possible avenues and still doesn't get it working, then I will escalate it. And then we have, like, specialized technicians who deal with the second level and third level side of things.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
So there's backup there for you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not so much backup, because they also work on other things as well, and they do a lot of, like, projects and stuff.
Yeah. How much has coronavirus, COVID, whatnot, has it changed your job right now? I know obviously from asking you during the time, when we're trying to set up our D&D group or, even trying to set up today or anything like that, I know that you're still doing your job, but I'm just curious to know how much has changed since then.
Nothing's like day-to-day things. Nothing's really changed in regards to how my workflow happens. Like I had everything set up at home in the eventuality, so I was really well prepared in advance in the eventuality that I would have to work from home. I can still like answer the calls. We've got things set up that I can still take calls that come in.
Do you still do the same hours? Are you a 9 to 5 kind of guy?
8:30 to 8:30 to 5 each day. I'm literally in front of my computer from 8:30 right till 5 o'clock instead. But I might need to take a break every so often because my back will start hurting.
Smokers, of course. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And lunch breaks. I still take my lunch break at the same time.
So if you're, for example, at the moment, like you're at home from 8:30 to 5, let's say it's a Tuesday or something. So you're working that day. You'll be sitting in front of the computer from 8:30 to 5. I assume you have lunch at the same time, 12, 1 o'clock, something like that.
12 to 1, yeah, usually.
Yep. Do you are you permitted to be able to do anything? Like, can you listen to music? Can you play video games? Like, can you do anything like outside the box a little bit or?
Music, yes. Like people, I know a lot of people in my field do listen to music in the background because it can help them concentrate in certain ways. It blocks out like external noise and helps them concentrate on what they're doing. Video games definitely not because that's not doesn't directly help you work at all in one iota.
The only reason I ask that is because I don't want to name the person, but I know someone in the field back in the day. He used to work from home and not play video games or anything like that, but between calls or whatever, between the time that they're kind of similar to what you're doing, that they'd listen to music or listen to podcasts or YouTube or anything like that kind of thing. So do you have any kind of leniency there, like from home? Like, can you do a little bit of that stuff or not really?
I do. I still do it at work regardless. I still do it regardless if I'm at work or not. It just depends on how often. Like, you don't want to constantly spend the whole day listening to music or whatever.
You have to be a bit more, when we're talking about social isolation and structure and stuff, like it comes down to the fact that you have to be self-disciplined now. It's not a boss there telling you what to do. It's you telling yourself what to do.
Essentially. And you've also got to repay the trust that they put in you to work from home. Because
correct.
They explicitly trust you to do the right thing and work from home. But it's just a bad way of repaying that trust if you spend the whole time in between calls playing games or...
Yeah, that's correct.
Buggering off or going for a walk. But
and it's you probably, if you're the type of person to play video games at home while you're technically meant to be working, you're probably not the best worker. It probably someone that's not the best worker anyway, is it?
Well, yeah. I just believe in a strong work ethic. If you're not doing your job between the hours you're supposed to be doing your job, why are you there?
Why did you? Where did you learn a strong work ethic from, boy?
Ever since I was.
Is it from Papa?
Yeah, Mum and Papa and Mama, I'd say. Cause,
What do your parents do again? I know your mum's a nurse.
Mum's a nurse and working for one of the remote Indigenous communities, like 2 hours northwest of Alice Springs.
That's such a cool job.
Yeah. And, it's rewarding, but you've also got to deal with, like, all the...
A lot of bullshit, I'd assume.
A lot of stuff and a lot of unrest as well. As well. It's a very complicated situation, but she handles it well. But
I'd assume it'd be much like an ambulance driver, a paramedic, they it's rewarding, but at the same time, with the people these days that every time they go out, they can fucking get king hit by some method, you know what I mean?
That's what my dad does. I think he's a patient transporter now for the ambulance service up there, which he worked to get for the last couple of years. Like, it's something he's always wanted to do, is to become a patient transporter or first responder.
I didn't realize that your dad was actually in the industry. I'll be completely honest, I had no idea.
Well, like, as long as I can remember, he used to do a lot of, what would be footy training for a lot of footy players, which isn't like training them to develop the skills or whatnot. It's a weird way of saying that they help manage any niggling injuries during the game and after the game, and even before as well, just to help them to prepare for the game, essentially.
Cool. Is that why you're so into football? Because of your father and brother?
I don't think I've had a choice in that.
You didn't have a fucking choice, did you? I mean, like, obviously, we both know that you're a Richmond Football Club fan, just like your brother and your dad. But who else is... your whole family's Richmond, aren't they?
Yeah, the whole family's Richmond. If my dad's always threatened to kick us out of the house if we ever said otherwise, especially Collingwood. He'd probably disown you if you ever said Collingwood.
So he hates Collingwood. Do you? I'm pretty certain Shakes hates Carlton the most. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But who do you hate the most?
I would have to say Collingwood and... Yeah, mainly Collingwood and North Melbourne as well.
Oh, how dare you say that? The great man is going to kill you.
Yeah, it's only more recently I've developed like a kind of a football hatred for them, only because they like they get so far and then they're ultimately unsuccessful. But
so they get so far and in the end it doesn't even matter?
Yeah, to quote the great...
They tried so hard?
Quote the great Chester Bennington, yes.
That's correct, yes.
But they they get so far and then they still... they're usually the ones that make the jokes about us finishing ninth often.
Ah, right, yes, but actually if you technically look back, I'm pretty sure North Melbourne's finished ninth more than you guys, haven't they?
Correct, and we haven't finished ninth in 12 years, and since then we've won 2 premierships and they've won none.
Wow, that's hilarious. So ninthman, actually you can start calling yourself Winman if you want.
Yeah, or as a lot of people say, Shipmans.
So how do you try and explain to me, because obviously, as an Essendon supporter... look, I don't necessarily think... Essendon haven't been great for 20 years, right? But let's face it, compared to other clubs like Carlton and stuff, they've been more successful in terms of maybe not finals winnings, but, regular season wins all over the years. But it's been a long time since we've been a really good football club. Obviously, the 2000 side was dominant. They only lost 1 game for the year, including finals. And then 2001, we lost to Brisbane in the grand final.
Yeah.
And then 99, we made the prelim, which we should have made the grand final. So, there was 3 solid years there of us being the number 1 or number 2 club, basically.
Yeah.
What was it like finally winning that fucking premiership cup
back in...
After having put up with so much bullshit as a Richmond supporter?
Yeah, I think it was 35 years since we'd been in a grand final back in 2017. But it was 37 years since we won one.
Who did you guys play again?
We played against Adelaide. That's
right, yeah. And you didn't just play against Adelaide, you fucking fingered Adelaide.
Well, yeah. When I was watching the game at the start, well, even a couple of days before, I was like, I don't care at this point if we win or lose, because we actually did something that I'd never thought I'd see in my lifetime, because... My whole life has been spent by people saying how horrible my team was, and after watching them a fair few times, I've been there when they've been flogged. I've seen them when they've won good close games. I've seen them when they've drawn a game, which is the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah,
watching a drawn game, because
there's nothing. You'd rather lose by a point. You'd rather get that pain, but there's too many what ifs with a drawn game.
But having that period of no success for so many years, I think when I was about three or 4 is when I think I've had my first football memory. So since then I've been...
Wow, that's a long time ago. What was the memory, out of curiosity?
It must have been just watching Richmond on TV, and I think at the time...
Richo, greatest. Or was that before Richo's time?
Yeah, no, I think Richo was 92. 94 maybe. But Brendan Gale, Nick Duffy,
Oh, the Daffy Duck.
Yeah. My parents. I don't know if it's true or not, but my parents used to like. I don't know if they're joking or not when they say they named me after Brendan Gale because his nickname was Benny.
Really? That's actually what. I hope that's true.
I hope that's true because he is an amazing footballer and wears his heart on his sleeve like no other. Like, I'm not sure.
Is Brendan Gale the president now?
CEO? President's Peggy O'Neill, who's the...
he went all the way up, didn't he, Brendan?
Yeah, I think when he finished, he did a couple of other things. I think he was like the head of the... Not the place, yeah, like the rules committee or something like that, and then he moved on to becoming our CEO, and he had like he said back in 2010, I believe, he had an ambition of winning, like in 10 years, like 3 premierships and getting to the finals 4 times, and we've...
Damn, he got there. He almost got 3. He got 2.
He got 2.
He almost got 3 too.
Yeah, so he had a very ambitious targets, and people laughed at him at the time. And I think the season that he started being CEO was the season where we lost the first 10 games because we had a new coach. And
have I ever told you the story about how how we were speaking before about the paths that you take in life? I could have very well easily taken the path of Richmond. Have I ever told you that story?
I think you said you've mentioned it once, but I can't remember. So if you want to elaborate.
Yeah. So as a young kid, right, my nan and pop, my pop was Essendon, his son Peter was Essendon, which was my uncle. My mum was Hawthorn. For some fucking reason, she just decided to go against the grain because everyone else was fucking Essendon. Yeah. Or Collingwood. My nan was Collingwood. Yeah. So as a child, apparently there's photos of it. I used to cuddle up to all of the Collingwood stuff as a kid. So it was Essendon or Collingwood pretty much. But the other way was that my pop's parents, which was my great-grandparents, they were alive when I was a young kid. Yeah. And they gave me a Richmond Tiger, which I've still actually got, a little tiger plush doll thing. And so there was the potential there for me to be a Richmond fan. I think that's why I give you guys so much shit, because I actually love and hate you guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's a love-hate. But
it is a love-hate.
Much like any club, Essendon's certainly had their trials and tribulations. Like most recently,
the drug scandal,
the whole drug scandal, like the whole performance-enhancing drug scandal, which kind of screwed their club over, and
we pretty much got dragged through the dirt. You know, can you imagine? You know, I would say that I've probably lost a bit of interest in footy over the last few years and gained more in UFC and NFL and stuff. Not that I don't still watch football or pay attention to it. It's just that I've kind of... And to be fair, I would be lying if I said that some of it wasn't because of the way Essendon have played. But, like, in hindsight, looking at everything, it's definitely not that. Like, it is the game as well, to me. I think they're overruling the game, and I feel like there's just a few things that have probably piqued my interest in other sports. So I've kind of lost a little bit for AFL. But can you imagine, you know, for someone like yourself or Chris or your family, at someone that obviously much more into football than what I am, imagine if your club had to go through all that bullshit.
We pretty much did back in 91. Like, we were on the brink of folding. Oh,
really? I didn't know that.
So there was a campaign called Save Our Skins where we had to raise a certain amount of money before we, or else we would have folded.
Sorry, what was it? Save our foreskins.
Save our skins. Yeah.
So you had to raise money. Sorry, what was it? What was it for? So you guys wouldn't fold. Were you guys going to merge or something? Were you? Or?
Yeah, it was basically just overspending on a lot of crap and trying to win desperately trying to achieve success as well, which brought us down to our knees.
And just to throw this one out there, sorry, I just realised AFL, for anyone that, because I do have a couple of people that listen from overseas, AFL is Australian Football League. It's our, apart from rugby, they're probably the two, rugby and cricket, they're the 3 biggest sports in the country. I do have actually a UK listener, and he watches soccer, which is a girls' bitch ass pussy sport. So AFL's for real men, so you can fucking jug on that. But anyway, back to the Save the Skins.
Yeah, so essentially there was a recession back in 1989, which really affected Richmond.
Yep.
And we had a...
See, you come across as a rich club to me now. You obviously, at one stage, you weren't.
Yeah, so we had, I think it was about, I'm just reading here, it says debt of $1.7 million. Back in those days, that was a lot.
Back in those days, that's fucking 5 trillion yen, Ben.
Yeah.
Fucking yens.
But then we had a bloke called Cameron Schwab who came in and basically said we need to do something.
Graham Polak got hit by a tram. Is that what you said?
Not quite. So I'm trying to remember who. I think it was. I think his name was Neville Crowe. Yeah.
Yep.
Neville Crowe. He was very instrumental in like getting that whole thing off the ground and raising enough money. But we managed to save enough money to keep us from folding, and we went through a period of. We still had a debt like any other club, but only recently have we, like, I think 20... I can't remember, it's 2012 or 2014, we fully paid off our debt.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so, and then we were able to establish ourselves into a more successful club, upgrade our facilities, and...
Yeah. Well, obviously, you know, every fucking club's been hit on the head with coronavirus and COVID at the moment.
Yeah.
I know Essendon rejected the AFL's help for money. You know, Essendon are a pretty rich club and a lot of good boosters and stuff like that. There was another club, I can't remember if it was Collingwood or something, that rejected it as well. But
there are certain clubs that haven't needed to. Like Richmond's one of them.
It is interesting though. So Richmond haven't needed it either.
No, because we've got enough in our reserves now to do that. Because our membership numbers are in, like we're the only.
They're insane.
Yeah, we're like
they're
the only
fucking
club
huge.
to crack 100k members.
That's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. And I think it comes obviously with the success. I don't think you guys would have 100 without the success of the club as well.
You need success on field to replicate off the field as well, because people aren't going to invest their money into something that's going to eventually fail. And it's like business when you're investing in different ventures. You're also investing in whether or not that will... pay off or not.
Yeah. You know, obviously life's unfair sometimes, and you know, the AFL is never going to be a fair system completely across the board. You get compensatory picks for staff, you know.
Yeah.
They'll obviously treat certain clubs and that better, but you know, in terms of obviously richer clubs like Collingwood and Essendon and Hawthorn, Richmond, those clubs, the big ones, they're going to have more money come in, which means better facilities and stuff like that. But overall, at the end of the day, a lower club can still win the premiership.
Exactly.
It's not like where Leicester had to come through and win the fucking Premier League at 5,000 to 1 odds. You know,
they're like the first team to do that. Like,
because the salary cap is fucking stupid in soccer. It's ridiculous. Yeah. You know, all the rich clubs get. Imagine if AFL was designed the same way as soccer, you know, like those clubs that I just named, we'd win fucking premierships every year. In clubs like St Kilda, well, it's not that they fucking win ones anyway, but
I think
but they would have
soccer,
no chance.
Especially the Premier League now they have the fair play system in. Like,
okay, do you watch a bit of soccer? Do you?
Yeah, I've I used to watch a lot of Melbourne Victory back in like the late 2000s. Really got behind the Stockeroos when they got into the World Cup in 2006. I watched
Is that the one where we lost to Italy?
Yeah, when they...
Those fucking cheeky dogs, when Lucas Neal got picked.
I think I even woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to watch Harry Kewell get us into the next round of the Cup by hitting a goal to tie us against Croatia. Yeah.
I fucking hate soccer. It sucks.
Yeah, I get that, and
it bores the fuck out of me. But then again, you got to look at the fucking sports that I like. You know, AFL, NFL, big hits, UFC, fighting. You know, it's a lot of action. Whereas soccer to me is just like hurry the fuck up and do something.
Soccer is like more strategical than skill based.
Correct, and I'm a meathead dumb shit. I need my fucking... I need my meat and veg, Lord.
You need your meat and 2 veg.
I need my just bleed, boys.
But yeah. But yeah.
So which premiership was more enjoyable for you? Just out of curiosity. You won 2. You won 2017 and 2019.
2017 would probably be more enjoyable. But
yeah, because it was the first one.
It was the first one in 37 years, and like...
Did you shed a tear, babe?
I shed a few tears, especially when...
Shed a few tears?
There was a moment, I think, late in the game when we kicked, like, I think Daniel Butler kicked the ceiling goal on the boundary, and you just see Brendan Gale on the big giant screen just bawling his eyes out.
Yep.
Because he's been through the thick and thin of it, so to see that, he just absolutely lost it. Same with Richo as well, because he was on the boundary working the game, and he broke down.
That's right,
and Tim Watson, who was there as well, he had to comfort him and that. 2019.
Yeah, and Richo was obviously a Richmond great as well, so
2019,
never quite got to do that.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly right, and he's probably always regretted that. The same with Brett Deledio as well, because he went to GWS at the end of 2016, and we beat them in the preliminary final to get into the grand final, and
yeah, that's right.
Absolutely
I do
lost
remember
it as
that.
well, and I think he did an interview he didn't watch the grand final at all because he
just went, I couldn't do this. Can't do this.
He literally could not deal with it because he would have broken down and realized.
I've said it before, but I feel like, it's just a sport. Sports are just sports, but at the same time, the flip side to it is, when it means so much to you, it can obviously overtake your life and have negative effects, but also at the same time, it can have really fucking good positive effects. If it's I just feel
that's
like...
why like the 2019 grand final was just as enjoyable for me. I nearly got tickets to go see it, but
you had to go see the Wiggles that night?
No,
you missed out?
I wish I saw the Wiggles.
I wish I fucking went to that over 18 Wiggles show.
No, that one was like months after that, but it was more enjoyable because I saw the first one with my 2 sisters and my older sister's kids.
Yep. And where were you for the 2019 grand final?
I was at home, and my mum and dad were down, and they managed to be down at the exact same time, which was actually...
so you got to watch it with your dad.
Yeah, which was coincidental because you don't know if your team's going to make it or not. But I got to watch it with my dad, and we used to watch the TV when we were younger, just getting into it, and either just yelling
and then getting fucking frustrated because Richmond were way too shit for way too fucking long.
But
my God,
game,
what a fucking... It's ridiculous. You had a great fucking team for a while there. A few years before the premiership, I always felt like your list was good. They just couldn't put it together, and you'd lose a lot of close games. And
Well, 2017 we lost like 3 games with under a point in a row.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, you mean under a goal
under
in a row?
A goal,
or?
yeah. I think it was like...
so 6 points, yeah.
Can't remember who it was against. I know one of them was GWS, where we thought we kicked a goal, but the goal review determined it was a point.
Oh, the goal review dogged.
Yeah, and they drove it up the other end of the field in like 20 seconds and scored one, and we lost.
Goal review is the biggest dog cunt than Marnes.
But it also...
They're the 2 biggest dog cunts I know.
Exactly.
In that order. No, actually, no. You know what? Marnes is the biggest dog cunt. Then the AFL review.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah. I guess we can kind of pull it back to something else if you want.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just kind of sick of talking about AFL because guess what? My fucking team sucks balls.
And we could go...
Actually, wait. One thing I wanted to ask you.
Yep.
How do you feel about the AFL doing the hub system that they're going to implement possibly?
The hub system...
Have you heard? You have heard of this?
I think it's like... It's
like
a good
they
idea.
want to run back, so...
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but they've also got to do it in a way that is safe. So, I think most likely what will happen is everyone will play in Victoria because most of the team, like 10 of the 18 teams are Victorian.
Yep.
And they will just all play one stadium And
I'd be curious, obviously there's going to be a hub, so they're going to hire out some place for all of the AFL people to stay. The risk with it is that if one person gets COVID, then they're fucked.
yeah, they would have to shut down the whole thing, I think.
Yeah, but the other side to it is, well, I suppose the other aspect is to it, should they be allowed to bring family and stuff?
No.
So you reckon family should just be cut off, like everyone else has to do at the moment?
Not in a if I can't see it, your family can't see it way. It's more just the safety side of things. Like, they're there to, essentially they're there to work because they get paid to play football.
Yeah. Speaking of, during this time, I know we've spoken previously about anxiety and stuff during this time.
Yep.
Do you, how we were talking about the structure and stuff, are you getting any anxiety at the moment? How are you feeling? How are you going at the moment with the social life?
When it started to blow up a little bit, I did get a bit of mild anxiety at work. I didn't completely...
And was it because of loss of job, or was it safety? Or?
No, it's more so just the uncertainty of what's going on, and just with how the virus is spreading. It was just great unknown because it was still relatively new here. And we weren't sure.
The crazy thing is, man, that we do know more, but there's still unknowns. It's crazy at the moment. You come home every day and you're plastered with it in the news and everything. It's in your face. That I've had to get away from it. I had a quick look before actually today, but there's just 3 or 4 day stretches where I just kind of try and get away from it as much as I can, because I feel like if you go down the hole too much, it is going to bring on that anxiety kind of thing. Do you have any tips or anything, or anything that you like to do
to deal with
helps?
Anxiety? For me, when I get anxiety, I go through a period of self-reassurance, and what I do in that period is I try to research and understand it a lot more, and then I can, as much as I can, because
so you actually go the other way. You deep dive into it.
Yeah, so I understood how it was transmitted and how it can affect certain people in different ways, and after just seeing how how it may not affect me and all that kind of helped as well. I'm not arrogant in saying that it won't affect me, because it could, but I just reassured myself if I did the right things and do everything right, we'll be able to get through it, and our country won't be the better for it, because we're actually freaking screwed right now. But it's more about...
But the trouble is, Ben, I think everyone's screwed in terms of economically.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And I mean, you just got to look... I'm just grateful, to be honest, that I'm not living in the US right now. I mean, there's an absolute fucking muppet that runs that country that's way worse than anything here, I feel.
I'm so glad we don't live in a country where our leaders suggest that you inject bleach or disinfectant.
Yes. Yeah, just chuck it. Oh, mate, just chuck a bit of fucking Dettol up your fucking dick hole and it'll help.
I think he just suggested, is there a way that we can do it, inject it in our... He was talking about injecting, ultraviolet light into our bodies, and
I've seen that, the dopey orange cunt.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad in that regard. I'm kind of glad in that regard, and kind of thankful that I don't live there. Because
I just feel like Australia probably puts a life ahead a bit of economy at the moment, a little bit better.
I saw a good video the other day of a reporter for Fox, I think, who was very pro-Trump. He was questioning the governor of New York, which is the hardest hit area in America right now, because they've had to dig mass graves and everything to bury people.
It must be. I'm assuming New York City. I don't know the geographics of America that well, to be honest. But I feel like New York must be. It must be because it's such a confined space. I'd say.
Yeah, and that's
they can't
why
really escape each other.
I think that's why it's affected America more so, because they've got a lot of high density populated areas.
Yeah. So do Australia, though. I mean, we've just done probably a better job of shutting it down that shit early. We
also have universal healthcare, so people aren't as scared to go to the doctor because they can't afford it, because we have the system in place where we can afford to go to the doctor.
I'm curious to know whether it's actually going to change the American system at all. Whether this is a big enough shock after this, like post-corona, that they go, fuck, we need something like that.
No, because...
I can't even conceptualize, dude. I can't even conceptualize non-free healthcare. You know, when there was one time at my old work where I was in the toilet or something, and I just remember like feeling like, oh, all the blood had drained out of my face, and it wasn't normal. And then I went to the doctors, and they sent me to the hospital, and I ended up having food poisoning, salmonella or whatnot, and some other thing that were attacking me at once. So there was two things that were attacking me. I was in hospital. The only time I only mention this because it's the only time I've been in hospital for a few days. I think it was like 5-6 days. But like to conceptualize that something like that could happen at work, and then we have to pay thousands of dollars to just have a hospital bed. We can't even.
Only if your workplace doesn't have insurance, and then the health insurance company has to approve the treatment as well, or the surgery that you need to get. In America, like in our system, if we need to get surgery, we get put on a waiting list depending on the severity, like a category 1, category urgent to like category 4, I think. Because I've had a few surgeries now to deal with infected abscess. I've had to go in a couple of times, and I'll find that the quality of care is about the same, if not better, than if you're on the private system.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you get in and out the same way. Like, I think the first...
It might be just a waiting list or something that's a bit shorter.
I think the first surgery I got done, I went into the emergency room to get it looked at, and then within 24 hours, I was in surgery, getting it removed. Not because it was urgent or anything, it was more so they had a spot open for me to get it done then.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And like I had to spend, I think, 3 months. When they did it, they had to like put packing tape in. It's an interesting one. It's what's called a pineal sinus. So basically what happens is hairs will grow inwards, and that creates...
that's interesting.
It usually comes from pressure from when you're sitting down too long, or if you're bumping too much.
If you're what? Sorry, if you're
like, say, it used to occur a lot in the war when like army men used to get it a lot because they'd be in jeeps all day and they used to drive over rocky terrain. And the seats kept bumping up and down.
Right, I understand.
The tailbone and spine and all that, and it pushed the hairs inwards, and then the hairs will grow inwards, and bacteria will form and start creating abscesses.
Oh, okay. Was that a painful thing?
Not the first one.
The
second one I kind of put off for a little bit because I was at work, so I hadn't needed to.
Yep. And did that make it a bit more painful because of the prolonging of it?
I reckon it was about the same. Like the first one, it wasn't as painful because we just got it removed.
Yeah. So do you think overall that we're looking at all of this, that we will actually respond better to the whole situation than other countries, or not?
I think we have responded a lot better. Like we've done a lot of things to stop like the importation of diseases. Like we've not allowing people to leave the country now, which they introduced about a month or so ago, and anyone coming into the country, whether or not they're a citizen or not, has to go under a mandatory 14-day hotel quarantine before they can be let out. And then
I did say that.
And then they have to, from there, if they live in another state, they have to fly to another state, and then be on lockdown for another 14 days.
See, we actually had the trip coming up in May that we're going to have to miss out on, unfortunately.
That was going to be so good.
So you ended up, we're going to go see your brother and my father.
Your father and...
That makes me does that make you my uncle? It does. You're my Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, yes.
Uncle Benjamin. So we're going to have to miss out on Port Douglas this year, which sucks, but It probably won't. We'll probably be looking at another 12 months before we can even consider something like that.
Exactly.
I'd say. But hey, we're alive, aren't we?
Exactly. I'd rather.
We're
put
alive.
Before.
We're, we don't. I don't have a. See, I forgot to ask you to be on webcam so I can have something to jerk off to. You beautiful bastard.
I do have a webcam, but you're not using it.
Yeah, you're like, I can whip. Hold on 1 minute. I'm going to whip out this webcam. Bam.
I was going to go back to what I was saying about the video earlier, where I said there was a Fox News reporter interrogating the New York governor, and they're like, what do you say about the people who were wanting the country to reopen? And he said a lot of people saying the cure is worse than the disease itself, and he basically said, what's worse than death? And he's like, economic hardship doesn't end in death. People losing jobs doesn't end in death. People not being able to go to hairdressers doesn't end in death. But he said the disease can end in death, and that's not disputable at all.
Correct.
So he's like, but what about people who will commit suicide and that because...
Sorry, what did you say? You just come through bad. Did you just say commit suicide?
Yeah, and she's like, what happens if people commit suicide because of economic hardship? And he said, and he reiterated the point that economic hardship, while it's horrible and it's he says it's horrible, it doesn't always end in death as well.
Have you seen that video floating around, the one about the celebrities? Thank you celebrities or whatever. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah, you'll have to send me. I don't think I've seen that one, but yeah.
It's so funny because, obviously there's the fucking... there's a video of Alan or whatever saying it's like being in a jail, and she's saying this from her fucking $40 million mansion.
Yeah.
Because, she can pay rent that week and shit. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to be told by some fucking cunt celebrity that... I've got it pretty good right now, personally. But, I mean, there's people out there that are going to be fucking struggling hard.
Yeah, I get that. And it's just an unfortunate side effect, the whole thing. But how would you feel?
I agree. Like, it's definitely...
possibly responsible for the death of someone in your family because you've contracted and passed it on to them. Or
even anyone, really.
Yeah. It's actually... They class it as murder if you actively, like intentionally infect someone with coronavirus in Australia. And I think I read somewhere, if you infect them and they end up dying from it, that's classed as murder.
Wow. So, like, intentionally, if you have COVID, you know about it, you're aware of it, and then you go to someone and cough all over them or something.
And they contract it and die. Yeah, it's premeditated because you knew exactly what you were doing.
There's probably going to be very, very few instances of that actually happening, though. Yeah,
exactly.
But which is good. I mean, that's a good part of humanity, isn't it?
It also stops people from coughing on shop workers because, like in many countries, we've had cases of people getting abused about shop workers, especially...
What kind of a fucking cunt do you have to be to abuse a fucking 15 or 16... Oh, anyone, but a 15 or 16-year-old working at a fucking supermarket because you can't get your fucking toilet paper.
Exactly.
Like, you are a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's just... It's absolutely insane to me. And maybe because... Look, I'd think that working in the industries that I've worked in terms of hospitality and customer service, it's helped me probably become a better customer on the other end. Like if something doesn't go my way, I don't just fucking have a little skits out about it and whinge about it. I'll just look at it for what it is, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it definitely helps.
Yeah,
but that's just next level shit.
I'm more of the same as well because I've worked in IT for so many years, and that's a lot of customer stuff. But I also had the advantage of working in retail. I worked at a pizza shop for 7 years as well, and I had to deal with customers on every time I worked there. So especially,
and they can just be cunts, can't they? Just about the littlest shit. It is what it is. Just people can be cunts sometimes, I guess, and people can be really nice, It is what it is. Hey, guess what?
Yeah.
I'm about to fucking time zone this shit and switch it over to another topic. Guess what it's going to be?
What?
Guess it, Ben.
Is it my
Ben,
favourite?
You need to guess it. It's your favourite TV show.
TV shows. Yes, The Simpsons. I get that.
Yeah, The Simpsons. So before you were saying, we were talking about obviously Asperger's and stuff, and is Simpsons the only kind of thing this is related to, or is in like an anger management movie, or is there other things that like you like not necessarily obsess over, or maybe you do obsess over, but you know like back to front kind of thing?
Yeah. So like much like anything I read or watch, it's very similar to that. But I think why Simpsons stuck with me a lot more than certain things is because of how it resonated and related to not just me, but to everyone as they were growing up. Because it described like a typical family going about their day, but it also had the comedic time, the comedic values to it as well, and it dealt with a lot of sensitive issues in some places, and a lot of people related to that.
Fuck, man, everyone loves The Simpsons. If you don't love The Simpsons, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, later seasons.
What's your favourite? Have you kept up with The Simpsons though the whole time?
Not the later seasons as much, because they're just like not as interesting to me. There are some episodes from later seasons that I genuinely enjoy.
When do you think is peak Simpsons, like prime Simpsons?
Well, people say season 9 is peak. I reckon about season 11 or 12 for me.
Yeah.
Then season 13, when they started bringing in more guest stars and trying to appeal to a wider audience, they kind of lost that thing that made them unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have a special ability, don't you, Ben? You're like a fucking X-Man of the Simpsons world.
Yeah, so I think
what's your fucking superpower?
Part of my condition, I can remember, like as you were saying earlier, I can remember quotes from movies and TV shows and just recite them off the top.
And I know this for a fact because I've tested your ass. And what was it? Season 2 or
Seasons
something,
2,
right through to season 10 or something like that.
Yeah, seasons 2 to 10. If you describe the plot of an episode, I'm not very good with the titles of the episode. Because they weren't what was the most interesting to me at the time.
So if I name something
like if you describe the plot to an episode of what happens in an episode, I can quote something from that.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Google it and do it because I've done this for I would have tried it 2 or 3 times on you. I remember that time we'd sat down for fucking half an hour and just named a heap of episodes, what the plot was, and you just went after it like a fucking rabid dog.
I remember a time where
didn't you do a Simpsons quiz one time and you got like fucking
everything
49 out of 50 or something?
Yeah, there was one question I got wrong. I remember another time where I'd promised to buy everyone a giant one of those monster pizzas that we have in town. They're like, if people don't know what monster pizzas are, they're a 2 foot by 1 foot rectangle pizza.
Fucking delicious.
They are
too.
amazing.
And huge. They are big. They're big boys.
They're unique to one store, to the place I worked at.
Yes, correct. Yes.
But yeah, I promised if I couldn't quote an episode, quote something off an episode that you were described the plot to, I'd shout your monster pizza, and you failed miserably.
Correct. We tried. But the best part is that the thing I love about it, Ben, is the fact that every single episode we did, you did the fucking quote in the person's voice.
Yeah.
Or tried to.
No, I don't think I didn't. Yeah, in the general tone of it, not there.
Yeah. Like just whether it was a kid's voice, you'd go high pitched or something, or old man's voice.
But yeah,
it's pretty fun.
But a lot of people even now do the same thing. There's a podcast I listen to called the Four Finger Discount Podcast.
Yeah. What's that one?
It's 2 dudes from Geelong who spend the whole episode just talking about, going through the plot of an episode, talking about different moments and funny moments and bits of...
Oh, is this for Simpsons, is it?
Yeah, bits of trivia, facts about the show, and what that
is it one of the best? Is it one of the best Simpsons ones that you found?
Probably is the best. Personally, I haven't seen many Simpsons podcasts,
Yeah.
but for me, it is the best because just the way they go through it and dissect each episode is just really good. And there are some moments that I've even forgotten about where they bring up,
rehash it to you.
Yeah.
I remember that shit.
Yeah, and the trivia, they do trivia as well. And it's
what's the most consensus like best Simpsons episode ever according to the fan base? Is there one? Because I know with South Park for sure there is one. It's the episode where Make Love Not Warcraft. That's the highest rated episode of all time, I believe. I'll have to have a look and see.
It's
highest rated Simpsons episode.
It's probably
IMDb.
Cape Fear is probably one of the best. Like TV ratings probably don't matter as much.
All right, here you go. Here's the number one. The Simpsons. The episode is called Homer's Enemy from 1997.
Is that the most highest rated, or?
Yes, industrious Frank Grimes starts working at the plant and becomes irritated by Homer's laziness. Bart buys a rundown factory for $1.
Yeah. But
do you remember that episode?
I certainly do. That is an amazing episode.
Can you think of a quote?
I wish I could do the whole monologue that he does in Homer's house, where he's like,
"Oh, is this isn't the monorail episode?"
No,
is it?
The monorail episode is that, and maybe Cape Fear, which is the one where.
Yeah, Cape Fear's up here is one of the top ones as well.
Yeah, Cape Fear is the one where Sideshow Bob tries to kill Bart, and the family have to go into witness protection in Terror Lake, I think it is.
Yeah, I remember that one. So Cape Fear, Marge versus the Monorail, Who Shot Mr. Burns, Part 1 was up high.
Part 1 is an amazing episode. Part 2 is also very good as well.
The highest rated Treehouse of Horror is number 5. Treehouse of Horror 5 from 1994.
I'm trying to remember which... Because Treehouse of Horror ones are also amazing.
The family's job at Mr. Burns' country estate goes awry when Homer goes mad. Homer's attempts to repair a toaster results in inadvertent time travel. The school staff turn cannibalistic.
Yeah, that's right. Is that Treehouse of Horror 4?
No, that's 5.
Right.
Yeah.
I was reading 4. Number 4's also got the ones where Homer sells his soul for a donut and goes on trial. There's also the one where he Bart dreams that he's going to be killed by a gremlin on a bus. Yeah. And Otto runs Hans Moleman off the road.
I can't remember this one. I do remember that one. The City of New York versus Homer Simpson. That's the one where Homer goes to travel to New York to get his car back.
And it's covered in tickets, yeah.
Is that the one where he gets clamped on his car?
Yeah, and he has a bunch of tickets, and then he's waiting ages, goes to use the toilet in the tower, and then the parking inspector finally arrives and puts another ticket on his car.
That's fucking funny. That's a good episode.
To break off the.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he doesn't. What? He starts driving, and the clamp starts going around his wheel arc and just rips a hole in it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one that's number 2 of all time is You Only Move Twice. After moving to another town for a new job, Homer must decide whether or not to stay when the family have a hard time with the transfer.
Yeah, that's the famous Hank Scorpio one.
That is the episode. Yes.
So many good ones in that list.
There is some good. And look at the, 96, 97, 95, 93. It's all from that era.
94,
like from that 3 or 4 years.
98 is, I think, season 9.
Yeah.
Because it started in 1989, I think was the...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 1989. Fuck, that's old now.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
shit.
even older than that, because it started off as a group of shorts on a British woman's TV show.
Yeah. Do you listen? Do you watch any other animes apart from Simpsons?
A few of them.
I know you're into South Park as well. You've kept up with it as well as I have.
South Park is amazing.
It's incredible. It has to be my personal favorite number one of all time. It's fantastic.
I think what keeps them like the show amazing is how they do it in a week just to keep up with the current trend that's going on.
Correct. So they've always got current events in their episodes, which is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's good. Do you watch Rick and Morty? You watch Rick and Morty? I watch Rick and Morty.
It's good. I haven't watched the latest season though because I've watched a little bit of the latest season, but
yeah,
it's an interesting show. I liked the last season 3 with the whole thing about the him wanting the special Mulan sauce from McDonald's.
Yeah, the Sasquatch sauce or whatever it's called.
It forced McDonald's to bring it back. Season 4 is okay so far.
Yep.
Not as funny as I think as the last couple, but it still has its moments. I do like Taika Waititi's cameo in it as well when he plays the alien who keeps wanting to develop an app.
Yeah, that's funny. He's very funny, isn't he?
He's a funny man.
He's a funny boy, that boy.
Yeah, South Park is definitely up there. I do enjoy some Family Guy. American Dad I prefer over Family Guy. Because it's a lot more...
Did you watch Futurama, Benjamin?
Yeah, I did like a bit of Futurama as well. It's certainly up there as one of my favourites as well.
Yep.
I didn't get to really watch the last season as much, I think. But...
Yep. Yeah. You can always... I suppose you can go back and stream that or download that at any time, though.
Yeah. There are other animated shows, and then you got your normal stock standard TV shows as well. Like probably my favorite like non-animated show is The Office, The American Office.
Yeah, that's a fucking phenomenal show. I hadn't watched it for ages, but then eventually I was looking for a new TV show, and I was looking for something that was like a sitcom-y style.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck it, I've never seen The Office. Let's get that. And yeah, after probably a season and a half, maybe 2 seasons, I was like, this could be one of the best shows ever written.
And that show...
It is absolutely hilarious from start to finish. If anyone has never seen The Office, trust me, stick with it. Fucking hilarious. Dwight Schrute is one of the greatest characters ever written, in my opinion.
For me, it's Creed. Creed Bratton.
Yeah, you like Creed?
Yeah. Because he doesn't have a lot of moments, but in moments he has like shit all over everyone else's. Because they just...
he gets a pretty good. Like Dwight's obviously part of the story and becomes more and more as the season goes on. Seasons go on, but old mate Creed doesn't have so much of a. It's like a backstory character, but he says some funny shit. That dude.
Yeah, like he spent a whole episode wanting to learn how to cartwheel. And a person did a cartwheel in front of him, and he just goes off his head saying, "Screw you."
I do remember that, and then he has some little cool little liners, like the one about how the heroin in Afghanistan's really good or something.
Which one was that?
I can't remember that one exactly, but yeah.
I know when he...
Hey, Benny.
Yeah?
Benny boy, I've got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
I reckon we can hit one more here.
Yep.
Now, I wrote this one down, and like I said to you before, we don't have to mention names or anything like that. But I just wrote this down as a topic, bullying and cyberbullying and its effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, during social ISO, I would imagine that cyberbullying has kind of gone up as a trend. You know, a lot of people are spending more time on their socials. A lot of people are angsty, angry, insulting people. And some people feel like bullying in terms of cyberbullying isn't the same as bullying in person. I definitely don't agree with that, but I just wanted to know your experiences with bullying and cyberbullying and stuff like that.
Well, when I was in primary, I did experience a fair bit of bullying. Not so much bullying in the sense of like being called names or whatever. I did experience bullying in the sense of being left out of things.
And is that, do you think, because of Asperger's?
Yes and no. I don't think they did it because of my Asperger's. I think because they probably didn't know I had it either. They probably did it just because they generally didn't like me.
Yep.
But those people now I talk to regularly and with some of my best friends. So it's amazing how it works out. Start of high school, especially year 7, there was a little bit. Like, me and a friend of mine did get singled out by some of the kids in our class, and like to the point where they got an absolute ripping into because the teachers found out somehow, but they got absolutely ripped into about bullying us, and from there they kind of settled down. High school wasn't too bad.
So high school was pretty good.
And then
what about uni?
Uni, I only did 1 year of uni. Like, everyone kept ribbed on me about like my hair and stuff, but I didn't really care because that's been happening since I was high school anyway.
What the fuck is wrong with your hair?
When it gets really curly, goes into what's called a Jufro.
Oh yeah, I know that because I used to have a fucking Jufro. My God, where Jew brothers been?
Like, to the point...
Jufros.
To the point where... I didn't really mind as much, but there was one person that took it a bit too far. To the point where... Like, I had a game that I bought not too long before that he threw out of the car just for no reason as I was driving everyone to go get lunch after class one day.
Wait, what's this story? Because I know the individual involved, and let's just say that there was a stern talking to this person from not just me but someone else. But what's this story? Because I've never actually heard this one.
We hopped in the car or something, and I was driving, and we were going to get, I think it was Subway for lunch even, or even going to the Flying Horse because it's that close to get some food. And one of them noticed the game in the back, and they thought it'd be funny to throw it out the car and force me to go get and take pictures of it and make a whole song and dance about it.
I don't know how that's funny. That doesn't make me laugh.
No,
and I'm hilarious. So what the fuck?
And it wasn't just that. He, I think some group projects he blames specifically me for him not getting as good of a mark as well. Right. And all that.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, as you said, I got a bit annoyed about that, but when uni finished, I was like, I can't go get the fuck out of there. But as you said, he got...
Is that the reason why you stopped university?
No. I stopped uni because I was doing commerce and absolutely hated doing accounting and law.
Yeah,
and
okay,
tax.
cool. Yeah, well, I did commerce as well, so and I didn't particularly enjoy it, you know. I don't even fucking use my uni degree in what I do and what I want to do.
You did it in 2 years because you did all the...
I did it in 3. Yeah, so 2009 I finished school. 2010 to 12 is when I did uni.
No, you're the same age as me. You finished... You're the same.
I am the same age as you technically, but I was a year above you. Yeah, because I'm super, super smart. No, I'm not really. I got a fucking I got a fucking 55 enter score. I'm a dopey cunt. Don't trust anything I say.
I got a 52.3.
Oh, I mean, I got a really good 56, and Ben got a really, really good 52. Good job, buddy. Yeah. Well done. We're not dopey cunts at all.
That's all right. Well, that's the thing. I studied reasonably hard, and I still did better than a lot of people that I know. A lot of people got
school,
low 20s.
Fuck school. They teach you what to learn, not how to learn, and they don't teach you basic things that you need to actually fucking know in life. It's ridiculous. Why the fuck am I ever gonna need to know sin, cos, and tan now? Fuck off and teach me how to do my taxes, you cunts.
Because a lot of jobs use graphing and mathematics.
No,
especially
I just use that as an example, but you know what I mean.
They teach
Pythagoras.
It's more.
What is it?
Yeah.
That theorem, Pythagoras. Fuck, not Pythagoras theorem.
I'm trying to remember Pythagoras. I can't even remember what it is.
Too many bloody theories, Ben, and not enough bloody teaching me how to cook and clean and fucking do my taxes, the dogs. Hey, I thought we'd end here, and you know what?
Yeah.
It's been a blast for one, but also a quick message to anyone out there that has bullied or does bully someone. Every time that you do that, I'm going to show up in your fucking dreams, and I'm going to headbutt you in the dick, and it's going to hurt you in real life. You don't do that shit.
Like the ending of Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, where they get the list of addresses of all the people that wrote nasty things about him. They just go beat him up.
Correct. So if you get a fucking knock at the door from me or Ben, we're going to headbutt the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, I don't know whether you've listened to the other episodes at the end, but I like to do a little bit of a sing-along at the end. And I've picked a perfect song here for you. Have you seen the song? Did I send you the song that you'd like to sing with you?
Yes, and I know that song very well.
Because I can do the beat if you like, if you want to sing, or we can both do the beat and both do the singing if you want.
Do it together, yeah. We'll do it.
Do you reckon we should do maybe just the first chorus, or what would you like to do?
We'll do the whole thing if you want. Just
it. Let's do the whole thing.
Don't tell your granddad that you're singing it because he'd probably
he'll probably fucking kill me.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Let's do the whole bloody thing. It's not that big. And then, Ben, is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
No, thank you for having me on.
I do have to actually say thank you very much. I did have, for anyone listening, I actually made a post on Facebook about it and everything because I was going to have a American fella. He was going to be my first international guest on. But unfortunately, he had to pull out due to sickness, and I fucking hope it's not corona. But yeah, Ben was next in line pretty much, and I pulled you out on a Sunday, so I'm sure you, thanks for the last minute coming on.
No, that's all right. I'm happy to. I did say I was going to come on eventually, and it worked out all right.
Happy to help.
Yeah.
Happy to bloody help, mate. How's you doing? Hey, you play footy, mate? You play footy, mate?
No, I don't play footy, mate.
All right, you ready? It is a footy song.
Yeah.
You ready? You can. I'll count us in. You ready? And a 3, 2, 1. We're from Tigerland. A fighting fury, we're from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin. Risking head and shin. Hey, if we're but Tigerland.
We never waken to the final sirens gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold. We're from Tiger. Yellow and black. We're from Tigerland. Fucking hell.
And that's it. Goodbye, everyone.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
And farewell.
Ta-ta and farewell, and get your hands off my penis.